Hey, 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 it's Rebecca, and you are listening to Resilient by Design. Today's episode is a shorty but goodie. I am sharing with you a few key ways that you can help yourself avoid dealing with a client's bad taste in design. You know what I mean? Like when they really insist on something that you disagree with, or they really want to keep an element in the design that you really want to take out. I talk about that in this episode. Enjoy.
All right. I'm Rebecca Hay, and I've built a successful interior design business by trial and error, podcasts, online courses, and so many freaking books. Over the last decade, I've grown from an insecure student to having false starts to careers, and now I'm finally in the place where I want to be. Throughout my journey, it's been pretty obvious that I'm passionate about business and helping other entrepreneurs do the same. Each week, I'll share tangible takeaways from my own experience and the experiences of other badass women to help you build your confidence and change your business.
You guys know there is nothing I love better than staying in my all-day PJs all day. Abode has launched my new favorite set of buttery soft pajamas that come in 3 fabulous colors: snow, camel, and my personal fave that's on the thumbnail for this podcast, midnight. I feel so put together, whether I'm recording a podcast like this, meeting a client on Zoom, or tucking myself into bed with the kids at story time. And as you all know, I'm a pretty big fan of the classics when it comes to design. And that translates to literally everything I purchase for my own home decor and my clients. And of course, my fashion. Abode also has the perfect luxurious 100% cotton, timeless bedding. It pairs perfectly with my chic all-day PJs. You gotta invest in your rest. Check them out at lovemyabode.com and type in Resilient10 for $10 off your very first order. Treat yourself to the perfect pair of luxurious all-day PJs and soft cloud bed linens.
Okay, so today I wanted to hop on here to talk about something that came up in a recent Zoom call inside of my course, Power of Process. And it was a question by one of our members asking about, what do you do when a client just won't budge and they won't change an element in the design or in their space that you really think should change? And there were a few examples thrown out, like, for example, you really want to specify penny tile for a bathroom floor, but the client says, no, I don't want that many grout lines. Or you really want to change their crown molding in their living room because it is so hideous and outdated. But the client says, no, I already rewired for speakers, so I don't want to touch the crown because that means it's going to cost more money to move the wires or patch or what have you. Or what do you do when a client says, I really don't like upholstered chairs. I want them to be easy to clean and wipe, and yet that is an integral element to your design. What do you do when a client doesn't agree with your design suggestions? So we talked about it and I gave my feedback inside of the group, but I thought, wow, what a great podcast episode. Because here's the thing. We've all been there. And some of us are still encountering this. And some of us will always encounter this. And I have to say that I still encounter this. But not like before. So early on in my design business journey, I would say for the first 5 or 6 years, I really didn't have a lot of spaces that I felt confident to photograph because the clients always ended up having a different idea of 1 or 2 elements in the space that, in my opinion, as the perfectionist designer, threw off the whole frickin' design. Like, I really wanted a beautiful shaker kitchen and the shaker cabinet door style. And the clients pushed me to do, slab, high gloss lacquer kitchens. Remember when those were a thing? I was never into that thing. That was never my personal design aesthetic. And so quite often I ended up acquiescing to a client's needs or desires because I thought, well, it's their house, right? And I guess this just isn't one for the books, and I really just want to make money and get the job done. But then the job would finish, and I didn't really want to photograph it because maybe the fabric that we ended up finding as a substitute for that built-in bench really wasn't my jam anymore. And yeah, I guess it looked fine and the clients were happy. But is that enough for just the clients to be happy? I mean, we are in a service-based business, right? Nod your head silently to yourself if you know what I'm talking about. Has this happened to you? Have you had this experience? So in today's short episode, I'm going to share with you my thoughts on how to circumvent these situations, what you can do, and just a few hacks if you're not quite ready and you're not quite there in your business to stand up for your design. So here we go. The very first, there's really two elements that I see that are the reason a client will question you or push back on your design. And so the one would be trust. You need the clients to trust you in order for them to allow you to push them beyond their comfort zone or allow you to push them a little beyond their boundary. They will trust you for many different reasons. A lot of that trust, I can tell you, will come with time, which is not the easy hack because that's the thing that you can't control. But I do believe that with time, as I became more established in my industry and as my designs started to grace the covers of magazines and they were in, blog posts, or my website picture started to improve and I had more photos and I had more referrals, I had more past clients, I had testimonials. That just slowly, naturally built trust so that the audience, my raving fans, my potential clients, trusted me as an authority because they saw how many other people trusted me too, whether it be media or past clients or Instagram following. They said, okay, Rebecca does know what she's talking about because I have proof. I have social proof that she is good at her job. But what do you do if you don't have that time behind you? You haven't built that up. Well, a few things you can do. I would say, first of all, to help sort of build that trust with people before they've even hired you is to start to build your own authority. So if you have a website, if you have an Instagram account or some social media following or account, start posting and sharing your knowledge. Share why you do the things you do. Why do you love working with small tile or mosaic tile sheets for flooring? Is it because there are a lot of grout lines, which is a good thing, which means it naturally is inherently anti-slip, right? Which is great, especially if you're aging in place or you have small children. Show the people that are in your realm, maybe it's through a blog post, maybe it's through social, but show them that you know what you're talking about. Pretty pictures are never enough. You need to show and educate your audience so they see you as an authority and an expert in your realm and in your sphere. Also, you can build that trust with your clients by really listening to them. And so this is the flip side of the coin because yes, you want them to trust you so much that you do everything they say. But let's be honest, especially in residential design, clients are hiring you to make their home work for them and be beautiful. And so they might have a specific need or want that if you don't listen and you don't ask the right questions from the get-go, you are not going to be able to deliver, and that will erode their trust in you. Trust me, I've done this. You know, I've been to a presentation or I've given a presentation to a client where the client said, oh, well, we said we didn't want, I'm trying to think of something that would have been a realistic thing, but okay. We said that we were getting a dog and that we needed really durable carpets. This silk, runner doesn't fit the bill. Right. They did tell us they were getting a dog. I didn't make a note of it. Or, for example, They tell us in the initial consultation, listen, my kids are super messy. I know it's disgusting, but I don't want to have any fabric upholstered kitchen counter stools because I just know they're going to muck them up. So it's just like something I really don't want. Well, if I didn't write that down, or if I didn't ask them the question, then I don't know until we get to that point. So if they tell me and I don't listen, that erodes trust. If I don't ask them and I present something to them they don't like, it's not necessarily going to erode their trust, but it's going to be a little painful. And if there's a lot of elements that you've missed the mark on, that will eventually erode the trust. I recommend having really great questions that you ask clients either in a consultation or even on your trade day. If you host a trade day like we do, when you kick off your project with them, some people like to send a questionnaire to clients or have an online survey. Whatever it is that you decide to do, whatever fits your ideal client and whatever fits you, do that to get that information early on so that you're asking the right questions, or you're asking the probing questions that will hopefully reveal more of what they love and what they don't love. Because ideally, you can find a way to work with that and still make it a great design. So trust. The second element that I think is a factor in all of this is confidence. Confidence all day long. You need to believe in yourself and have confidence in your own design choices so that you can sell those choices to your client. It's quite funny, one of our members, and I hope I'm okay with sharing this because I think it's hilarious, Laura Thornton of Thornton Design, who is an incredible designer, very successful. She is a Power of Process alum, and in our designer's room, she shared with everyone that a phrase that she uses frequently when a client really insists on keeping something in the room, let's say that is outdated, or, they don't want to do it because of cost, she uses the example, and I'm going to botch it, but she said she's really good at standing her ground, and because she's confident in the design choice she's making. And in order to sell that to the client, she says something along the lines of, would you put on your old acid wash jeans and go to a black tie event? No, you want to dress up so you can fit into the atmosphere and the environment where you are. Okay, Laura, that's not exactly what you said. But the idea is, why would you keep one outdated element if it doesn't fit its environment? Whatever it is for you to help to politely but firmly let your clients know that the choice you've made is the right one, because maybe if we go back to the example of the penny tile, because I've definitely been there with a client where they did not want a lot of grout lines. But if you firmly believe that this is like a make or break it for the design, you could say, listen, I think that this grout is actually a good thing because it has natural anti-slip properties. We do it in a lot of bathrooms. It's a very popular design choice. Go on and on to help sell your design. However, if they really don't want it, you can't make someone do something they don't want to do. You want to continue to have that trust and a good relationship. So sometimes, and you may not want to hear it, and I don't know, everyone might have different opinions than I do, but this is my podcast, so I'm going to share my opinion. Sometimes you just got to give it to them. You just do. It's their freaking house. They're paying you. Yes, they're paying you for your expertise and your service, but ultimately, at the end of the day, you don't have to live with it. They do. I had clients. I designed this beautiful bathroom. We had marble mosaic floors. The vanity was beautiful, detailed with leg detail. We had decorative mirrors that were like antique with a really cool offset sconce light. And the client basically showed me the picture on Pinterest that they had showed me before, by the way, but I took some creative liberties and said, this is what we want. We want large format tiles on the floor. We want a backlit hotel-like mirror. We want a floating vanity. And you know what? I gave it to them. It's what they wanted. It was their dream. I let them have it and recognize that, you know what? It may not be something I photograph. That's okay. Sometimes you have to understand when you need to call it quits in the sense of don't keep fighting and pushing back. But I do believe that the more you build your own confidence and you feel confident in the choices you're making, that confidence then exudes more positive juju, and the client is just going to want to do what you suggest. And over time, again, I know time, you can easily sell someone because now they've built up that trust in you because they really trust what you do. And clearly you know what you're doing because you come at them with a full set of confidence. A huge helper in this, I have to say, has been the fact that we present our designs at a presentation day and we select absolutely everything, including the door hardware, the hinges, the baseboards, the crown molding, the paint colors, well, some paint colors to test, you name it, all of the elements, the side tables, the coffee table, the sofa, the lighting, all the things at the presentation so it's a lot easier to sell, quote unquote, sell your design. I'm doing air quotes right now, when you can show them the whole picture and they can really see it all together in context. Okay. I'm sure there's lots of questions from this episode. This is just meant to be a shorty but goodie because I know so many designers go through this. I still encounter this where I need to remind myself that I'm the professional and I want to remind the clients, here's why. I recently had a client say to me, we presented to them, we had this beautiful white oak, kind of like a medium stain, hardwood flooring, which was in a matte finish. And the client was like, it's just, I just don't know. I really envisioned like a really shiny floor. Yeah. And my team and I were like, oh, well, I mean, you don't see those so much anymore. / don't do it. Are you crazy? But we said, here's why we selected the matte and why it is the most popular finish right now and everyone's asking for it. You have kids and a dog. It's not going to show all of the wear and tear. It's not going to show the dirt, the fluff, what have you, the lighter, da-da-da-da-da. And we went through, and not that I was trying to convince her, because when you try to convince someone, sometimes they'll push back and they'll get defensive. It's about educating them as to why you made the choice so that they can see it more objectively. Anyhow, let me know in the Designer Meetup Facebook group if you have any further questions or follow up. If you liked this short episode, it's probably not short anymore because I feel like I'm rambling. I think it's just really helpful to talk about, the power of building that trust and standing your ground, like having that confidence, because I think that some of those little holdbacks by clients can be avoided, but not always. So there you go. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. I feel like there's so many exciting goodies coming up. I'm going to share that with you. In the show notes, there's something happening really soon, something new coming out. Check out the show notes, just saying. And as always, join us in our Designer Meetup Facebook group. That's it. See you soon.